Hey soul family, welcome back to the channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we are doing what big effect did your past life self previously have on the world. So excited about today's reading, and to do that we are going to be picking 3 piles together. So I see 1, 2, and 3. Let's turn them over and see what we have. So I feel because of the colors of the stones, I'm kind of called to switch these so that each goddess matches the stone that we naturally picked for it. I'm not sure if you can pick the stones, but let's now introduce them, since we are talking about them, right? So for the 3 piles, for pile number 1 we have Haya Kitsuhime with the Mookite Jasper. Oh, let me adjust that. And I think you want to take a look at your goddess as well. Let me do that. Here we go. For pile number 2, you have the Lapis Lazuli. And of course, your goddess is, let me adjust that, Lethe. And for pile number 3, we have the yellow Aventurine, as well as the blue Dakini. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most drawn to, and that's probably the pile for you here today. And I did mention that this deck I received all beaten up. That's why you may see this in the cards. It's such a shame because it's an amazing deck in my opinion, but I feel like this didn't come as a coincidence in this reading. I feel like it's meant to give us this energy of, or the vibe of things from the past. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles or 3 crystals you're the most drawn to, and that's probably the pile for you here today. Now if you feel drawn to more than one pile or more than one crystal, trust your intuition, whether it's just leading you to one, several, or all. Your intuition is your magic, and it always guides you to the right reading, helping you gain the knowledge that you're supposed to know. And as usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times, and I'll see you in your readings. Hey soul family, welcome to the shuffling and the card picking process. It is so lovely to have you here, and I love having you around as part of your pile preparation process. Okay, so before we begin, let me as usual introduce the cards to you. On the left are the oracle decks that we will be using, and on the right are the tarot decks that we will be using for your reading. Also, if you're interested in any of the decks that I use, you'll find that I leave them down in the description box. Okay, so let's now get into this very exciting reading, and we want to know, what big effect did your past life have on the world? What big effect did your past life previously have on the world? So I see this one, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's now move on to the next oracle deck. ask the same question. What big effect on the world did your past life have? What big effect, thank you, did your past life self previously have on the world? Okay, let's now move on to the next deck. What big effect did your past life self previously have on the world? There we go. Now it's time for us to take a look at your tarot cards, or prepare your tarot cards for this reading. All right, let's pick up your first deck. And ask, what big effect on the world did your past... thanks, I did not see it. You probably didn't see it, and that goes here. So we're taking 2 cards from each deck. From each tarot deck, I saw that one. Just as some of you have freed people, some of you have freed a certain type of people in the world that were having it hard. Some of you were women activists, or maybe people who released the idea of slavery, or you saved the country. You've done something that was righteous in the world, for sure, in one of your lives. All right. So you've previously saved a group of people in your past. That's for sure, if you're watching the pile preparation process. In one of your lifetimes, you've had a great role in freeing a certain type of people. So you were a hero, is what I see. You were a big hero, and that had a huge effect on the world. So that's just one of your lifetimes. I don't know what your pile will be about yet. We'll find out. So, what big effect did your past life previously have on the world? Okay, moving on to the next deck. So, what big effect did your past life self previously have on the world? Can we kindly find out, please? So 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. All right. What big effect did your past life self have? Oh, thanks a lot, on the world. So they're in place. What big effect did your past life self have on the world? There we go. So your 3 piles are now ready. Let's put them neatly together. Okay. Let's now pick up the first pile and put it together neatly for your reading. There we go. So there is pile number 1, pile number 2, there we go, and pile number 3. Go. Pile number 3. Let's now add your crystals to your piles. So here we have, it's amazing how it matches, isn't it? We have the Mookite Jasper. And for pile number 2, we have the Lapis Lazuli. And for pile number 3, we have the yellow Aventurine. So there we go. Your piles are now ready. Thank you for spending this time with me. I always appreciate it. Thank you. Love you guys very much. And let's get into your very interesting reading today. Hi, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. If you hear any background noises, my apologies. This is my dog. I always keep him next to me. All right, so you have Haya Kitsuhime. Let's keep your goddess here, which is represented in this deck by the Queen of Cups. Let's keep your main card here and let's take a look at the rest of your cards to find out what big effect on the world did your past self have. So what do we start with? Let's start with, actually I feel this one. So let's start with this one. You have fellow travelers. Support is all around you. So you have traveling, you have Haya Kitsuhime, which is of course the Shinto goddess of the sea. So there's a lot of traveling going on right off the bat. Let's keep this here. You also have the heart. How interesting. And this goes hand in hand. I see. This goes hand in hand again with your goddess because she is capable of eating away any sins that are left or impurities, swallow them that contaminate the sea and human beings. And she pures the heart. She takes evil spirits and she purifies them. I'll get more into your goddess, of course, but I'm just giving a quick idea here as we take a look at your cards because I'm kind of starting to grasp something here for you. Wow! You have the cosmic egg. So you definitely, with the 3 combinations here, believe it or not, pile number 1, you had a huge spiritual effect on the world, and you were the real one here. You were giving out very rare spiritual information, helping others improve themselves. You were considered a very big sage that could have been secret as well. You were very humble. You weren't all about showing who you are, but you were very adamant about traveling around and meeting different people and spreading wisdom in an all hush-hush kind of way. Really interesting, pile number 1. Would you have guessed that? Let's take a look at the rest of your cards. So this is one of your lifetimes, right? You have... Wow, the Ace of Wands. And you know, this wand is kind of reminding me, yeah, of a messenger, a prophet, you see, with this wand here. So yeah, you had a message previously. You had a spiritual message. And I'm not saying, of course, that you were a prophet. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that you had some sort of big power, a big sage, I think. and you had unique information, very unique information. I'm not sure where you got it from with the cosmic. It's like maybe you were downloading information or something. You had unique information. Maybe they pertain to your people, and you were spreading it. Very important as well, information. You have the lady, which is the Empress, right? Okay. You also have the Hanged Man, right? We're seeing great shift and a revolution in people's thoughts and people's mentalities. Maybe you were at a stage where you were rectifying some beliefs that came from a source of others wanting to take control of others, and you were here trying to spread secret knowledge and secret information, helping others see through maybe the new religions or the new ideologies that people in power were trying to spread. You had a big role here. Pile number 1 certainly was not expecting that type of reading. You have, okay, so this one wants to come out first. We'll take that. You have the Knight of Wands. You seem to me with the Knight of Wands that you were very courageous, and I feel like you had some sort of psychic powers that were making you very hard to catch. Pile number 1. It wasn't easy. You know more than the lies that were being spread. You see, underground information, underground magic. That was really, as your goddess suggests, pure magic, purification. You were, oh, did you notice, pile number 1? You have Haya Kitsuhime, and like we said, so now I have to give a quick introduction. So Haya Kitsuhime is the Shinto goddess of the sea. Remember that I'm not sure if I introduced Shinto to you. So Shinto is the ancient indigenous religion of the Japanese people, which is, by the way, still practiced to this day. And so it is believed in Shinto that people or human beings are fundamentally good, and that sin and evil are caused by evil spirits. So she had the ability to have that type of power, enough power to cleanse those spirits. She would take them back to their original existence, transform them back into pure energy. So there's a huge purification process at a vital stage in life. We're talking maybe primordial times as well. It was very significant that at this time, maybe there was this new move of power starting to take over what human beings have known as maybe the right information or the primordial information that everyone naturally had, especially with the heart here. It's kind of like the anahata, knowing the truth of the matter with high intuition from the heart. So people were vibrating high frequencies. They were they had spiritual powers, and we see at some point there was a new birth of power, a human type of power, hungry for control. And you were one of the very last few people who had unique informations that others didn't have during a time of great change. And pile number 1, you were getting to people's heart, all in a hushed way. You were a threat to this power, but you were doing it underground. You weren't seeking power, but rather you were trying to pass across as much as you can the last information that could be given out during that time, so that not all is lost. Wow, pile number 1. What an interesting story. All right. especially that the cosmic egg has to do with the beginning of existence. That's why I'm saying it's very early, primordial. And from nothing, everything was created. It's like the truth of how the world was created, how we function, what is spirit, what is energy, what is magic. The old truth that was abundantly available for everyone, that was kind of kept secret due to control. You have the Eight of Wands. See, you have hands trying to hush energy, trying to stop energy through false communication. All right. You also have the Lover's card, kind of reminding me of Adam and Eve. I don't know how this is fitting here. Oh, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Actually, this is quite interesting. You also have the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. I'm seeing here that for some reason there is a great significance going back to Adam and Eve. Oh, this shows me actually Adam and Eve is the story of how existence began, or human beings began, right? So we're seeing there was a shift in the story. See, because there's birth, there is a shift in the story and an egg to how human beings began. And for one reason or the other, that is very significant to why human beings would believe these new lies. So there was this giving of a new story to fool people, to having people follow the masses, even though they were supposed to follow themselves, not follow a certain power. And so there was a new story to the existence of humanity. There was a lot of hush and hiding, new type of communication. And for one reason or the other, this story was this story was very important to human beings believing power about themselves. Yes, because it talks about sin. Oh my God, wait, I'm very sorry. I'm very excited. Because Adam and Eve talks about sin, right? It talks about how sin begun. So there may be a shift in maybe making human beings think they are sinful, when here we see the idea that in fact they're not. There is a lie here of making human beings think they are bad, they are sinful. There's hiding going on here, and this hiding is kind of slowly blocked this human vibration, which obviously was the strongest asset that they have, helping them cleanse, become powerful. It blocked their magical powers. Can you believe this? Would this mean that by knowing that one is not sinful, that one is fundamentally good, would that shift the way human beings view themselves and help them vibrate high? There's a lie here. Let's explore it together. Oh my God, this looks like a very magical reading. Let me get your tarot deck, pile number 1. Having the dog here, it also affected human beings' loyalty to each other, separating them. Yes, you know why? Because in Thoth, the Lover's card is associated with the Hebrew letter Zayin, which means sword, to split, right? So here, oh my God, I'm seeing some sort of split that happened between humanities. Instead of it being a community taking care of each other, now with the new rise of the power, there was a split between human beings. Instead of them acting as a community, being loyal to one another, it now started becoming me looking after myself, which fundamentally changed the way human beings function altogether, blocked the Anahata, and blocked their magic. This is really interesting. Let's take a look. I forgot the question. What was the question? You know, this is like human beings forgetting who they are, forgetting everything. What was the question? Let me remember. Oh, actually, I think we answered it. Let's ask. So then what's the truth? See the truth. How are human beings supposed to live then? What's the truth about human beings that you were trying to spread, my dear pile number 1, in the past? What were you trying to... Oh, this one wants to come out. Right, let's take it too. What truth were you trying to spread? Let's take it this way. Pile number 1. Whoa. So you have the devil and the emperor. So the first truth you were trying to spread was that this love of control, to have one soul control over everyone, is an evil idea. It's from maybe the devil. It's not natural. It's not the natural way, and that it was going to spread maybe this selfishness or this evilness, to just want to control others and get the glory of controlling others, was taking human beings astray. And it seems like human beings were starting to believe them out of the benefits that they were giving them. So there was a spread of the type of benefits, which were lies, obviously, for the people following this emperor or this wannabe controller, king, or this new idea. It came from luring people in to making their lives easier. But it turned out to be a big lie, because they were false promises in the beginning that never came true. Now they were under the mercy of this great controller, who gained control with others following them. And no one really got anything. There were spread of lies. There were spread of myth, truth, reinvention of stories, weakening the human mind to think that they were weaker than who they were, thus having that person having full control over them. So there were spread of lies about who human beings were, thus believing they were weaker, losing that strength that this greater power was afraid of, and making them in control. So there were lies, spreading of rumors and lies, and you were working underground, obviously, reminding people of who they were, debunking the lies, showing people the ways, because obviously it was diffusing little by little. That's why the opportunity arose. And you were trying to remind people at a very critical time of their magic and the truth, and how they are in control, not the greater power. Oh my God, pile number 1, your reading is so interesting. I did not expect that. 3 of Cups. Do you see? Do you see that 3 of Cups? So you have the 3 of Cups. Was all underground. You were acting and mingling as being part of everyone, even though you were some sage. You had higher spiritual powers, something magical. Whoa, you have the Knight of Cups. You were traveling overseas for that. You were moving around in different... So you maybe were moving from different tribes, different countries. You wanted to spread that message everywhere as much as you could. The Eight of Swords, helping others see what they cannot see and helping them break out of their wrong mindset of thinking that they're stuck, that they're in control, when they're really not. They really weren't. It was all a lie, a foolish lie. It looks like a bow that you can just untie. No one's really stuck at all. They're following a new type of religion or new type of thought. Five of Cups. So what were you doing? Pile number 1. To a great extent, with the Five of Cups here, you put this to a great extent. You ruined a lot of the things that this greater power here was trying to do. So it could have been worse. And that's the big effect. That is the big effect that your past life self has had on the world. Pile number 1. You ruined a lot of the plans here, because even if not everyone heard about it, a lot of people were rediscovering their magic. You were able to quickly rectify some of the lies that was even going to get worse. And at least you've got a group of people that secretly held on to the last information that you had from the eyes of authority, from the eyes of everyone, making sure that it was secret. At least it starts with the intention of passing it on from generation to generation, with the hope of sooner or later taking out this power. You were a big messenger. Pile number 1. For sure. Driving overseas to explain the truth of human beings, the real truth and the real story of what is the universe, what is energy, what is the heart, and the great power of human beings. Oh my God, I'm mind blown. I think this was one of the most interesting information that I have seen from tarot cards. I will definitely be meditating on this information. And aren't we lucky that we have someone like you amongst us in the community? So pile number 1. What an amazing role. And I would think that you will always have this mission in your heart. It will always be something that you do, my dear pile number 1. And that's probably why you were called to watching this reading today, why it came your way, and why you clicked on pile number 1. And pile number 1, that was your reading. Mind-blowing is an understatement. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for all your efforts. I'm sure you are someone who still has all these spiritual powers to a great extent. It's about tapping into what you don't know, my dear pile number 1. You have a lot of psychic abilities that you don't know about. Mark my words. And I would advise you to really test them out, get into it. You know what? I will link down in the description box a reading that I've done previously about what psychic abilities you have. It might help you out. And other than that, that was your reading. By the way, if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check my other channel out. It's the first link in the description box. And pile number 1, if you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, pile number 1. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it, but you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying the process. And so if you're interested in checking that out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook if you love and enjoy audiobooks like me. Pile number 1, it was a great pleasure doing this reading for you. Thank you for tuning in. I have so much respect for you. I know you're going to find some really valuable information in your lifetime. All the best of luck with that. And pile number 1, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Very excited about getting into what big effect on the world did your past self have on the world. So first off, you of course have Lethe with the 4 of Cups. Really interesting. You were also drawn to the Lapis Lazuli. Let's keep your main card here. Actually, let's keep the stone right there. Yeah. And let's take a look at the rest of your cards to find out what big effect on the world did you have. So, you have the Maiden. How interesting. And this is really mind-blowing because the goddess Lethe is a lovely maiden. Right, let's keep it here for now and get more information as we take a look at your cards. So you have First Light, beginning a new cycle, which actually goes hand in hand again with the goddess Lethe. Okay. You have the Beaver. All right, so let's take a look at your tarot cards, pile number 2. So you have the Tower card. Something big happened here. All right, something hush-hush, maybe underground. You have the Page of Swords. Ooh, free soldier. Free soldiers. Free soldiers. Okay. You have the Ace of Swords. I'm telling you, you were some sort of free soldier. Oh, we'll see. Right? You also have the Moon card, working underground. So you belong to a secret group, a secret a secret type, an underground type of strong warriors. Maybe you know, what are they called in Japanese? Samurai, kanji, not necessarily, of course, in Japan. This could be really anywhere where, you know, there are soldiers of truth fighting for the sake of people and not for the sake of power, doing it very secretly, bringing down authority. How interesting, pile number 2. You were a very courageous knight, it seems. You have the Queen of Wands. This looks like a political game here. And you have the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. 2 powers, you know, the water taking down the fire. Queen of Wands is in a bigger position. The Princess of Cups is in a smaller position, but very courageous and very capable. Bringing down, putting off the fire of the person in power. How about we keep those 2 here and create space for these 2 cards? So you have the Ace of Swords. I'm telling you, there's no way you look like, oh my God, you look like you were a knight, a very powerful secret soldier or a knight. And you were able to bring down a huge empire, or bring down a huge emperor because of the work that you have done. You were a hero of your people, pile number 2. It's like you died a hero. Your last breath was speaking truth, saving people. So at some point you died sacrificing yourself for the truth and for the sake of everyone, and you won. Your name is known in history up until today. And you have the moon again. This was all done in secrecy. You did all of that in secrecy, and later on your name was announced. Everyone knew about it. It went from the underground work to everyone knowing who you were. It went down in history. Everyone knowing who you were, what you did, but you lived a secret life. You weren't celebrated living, but you were celebrated for the rest of history. And it seems everyone knows about you now. Can we put this here? Would you be able to see it? I think you would. Okay. So, let's get more information here. This huge empire came down, as you can see, because it needed someone who was selfless. And that's what we have with the beaver here. This community, or this big country, needed a hero like you. And so with the beaver archetype, we have someone who's a hard worker, someone who's tireless, someone who's loyal, someone who works steadily for weeks and months and years until they see their goal come through. In fact, here we see that you even took it until the end. You sacrificed your life. And in your point of view, dying, you did not know or think that people would even ever know about you. But you were willing to sacrifice everything to bring a new beginning to everyone. And you did. You put out this flame. We even have the water element in the beaver here. You put out this flame, my dear pile number 1. And your name rose into existence. You were worried, pile number 1. You were doing it selflessly, but part of you was worried that you would be forgotten. And the reason I say that is because Lethe is the Greek goddess of forgetfulness, as opposed to Aletheia, which is the Greek goddess of truth, unforgetfulness, unconcealment. So we see with Lethe, it's the opposite. It's forgetfulness, concealment. Yeah. And so you were kind of worried about doing this great thing, and you were willing to do it anyways, and you went through it, and all in secrecy. But you were afraid to be forgotten. Part of your heart was afraid to be forgotten. But the amazing thing is, looking at history, you were always remembered. You came down as a name in history. And if you want a clue to look for yourself, because you have a big name, maybe Google a warrior, a knight who brought down an empire, was a hero to the people, something like that. And I think you will definitely be guided to find your name, pile number 1. You may even be very shocked. And if you found something, please leave it, some examples, please leave it in the description, in the comment section. You may be able to help others, because either it's one story or maybe several, I'm not sure, but your name, I think you should look it up in secrecy, pile number 2, and you will know that it's you. Look at a story of a knight that brought down an empire, who died not known, but was always remembered in history. Now, the significance here of why you had to sacrifice everything this way and become this hero is because this empire was growing bigger by the day. It almost felt like it was impossible for anyone to come near this huge power. They've gained a huge power, maybe even around the world, or they had control of several maybe countries or an area, and they got so big to an extent where there might have seemed like it was a loss of hope or nearly impossible to bring down a power like that. They had their men everywhere. They had maybe developed tools. They were very well protected. They would kill others. They had the resources. They had so many working for them, and they were just really under control. And they needed someone who is very savvy and smart, knows their way, very skilled is the right word I'm looking for, very skilled. And you had a great talent, maybe with your sword or with your power. You were known to be a very, very unique knight. You may have even, surprise, have been working for this empire, and they even trusted you because you seemed like an honest person. And you were taking on this role. Is that the Sphinx? Oh my God, this looks like the Greek goddess, the Sphinx. This is significant here. I think maybe I should show you closer. Do you see that? This is the Greek monster of fate, the Sphinx. And as you can see, the Sphinx has the head of a woman, has the body of a lion, and the wings of an eagle, and the tail of a serpent. And she challenged all the people traveling to solve her riddle, which was what creature walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at midday, and 3 legs in the evening? And of course, the answer to this riddle was it encompasses the entirety of human life from infancy to old age, as you can see. So anyways, long story short, I see that your intelligence, you outsmarted this empire. The rulers had great trust in you. Maybe you were playing a double-edged sword, or 2 sides, where you were placed in a very strategic position to get the information needed and to appear as fighting for them, when in reality, underground, you were creating a new beginning. You were pretending to fight for them, sometimes giving them truth so that they would believe you. My goodness, your role was really kind of intricate to play, or very, just like the Sphinx here, very savvy. You played mind games a lot. You were brilliant, it seems, pile number 2. And on the underground, so you worked hard up there and then really hard down there. And at some point, you had to do something critical, ending this empire. But along with it, you had to stay in the castle to show your loyalty. That's how dedicated you were. And so you had to go down with them to the very last minute, ensuring that your underground plan was executed perfectly. And you went down with them. You were really worried before you died that no one would know, but you were happy regardless of doing it from your heart in any case. You went down with the emperor, or maybe the empress, who knows. Pile number 2. You were the reason the sun arose the next day, giving a new beginning to humanity, of human beings or this country, celebrating freedom from the nasty, disgusting acts of this power-hungry empire, giving everyone a new beginning. Such an impressive reading, pile number 2. I am mind blown. So pile number 2, that was your reading. From my heart, what an impressive reading. If you've enjoyed your reading, make sure you give this reading, please, a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoy zodiac tarot readings, make sure you check my other channel out. It's in the description box down below. First link in the description box. Other than that, please subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and please don't forget to check out my productivity book, pile number 2. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it, but you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying becoming a productive person. And so if you're interested in checking this book out, you'll find that it holds true to this promise, and you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook if you love and enjoy audiobooks like me. And pile number 2, it's such an honor meeting you today in this world. Thank you for being the amazing person that you are. It was a pleasure doing this reading and an honor doing this reading for someone amazing like you. That was your reading, pile number 2, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the beautiful blue Dakini, which is represented here as the 3 of Swords, as well as the yellow Aventurine. So let's keep your beautiful card right here, and let's take a look at what big effect did your past self have on the world. Very excited about your reading. The first 2 were super interesting, wondering what your reading will be about. So you have the fault line. Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? Because we know that the blue Dakini moves between space. Moves, the blue is represented as shunyata, or the emptiness, and she has the capability to dance and create paths through the depths of infinity. So it's really interesting that you have the fault line here. We see the seen and the unseen kind of thing. Let's see. Looks very interesting already. You have... Whoa, I knew it. I'm telling you. There are some magical ability, you being able to manifest something. You had a huge role here. See, healing energy flows through you. This is not a coincidence that you were drawn to the blue Dakini, my dear pile number 3. So you have the fault line. Let's find out more about this interesting historic character, which was you in the past. You also have the moth. Okay, so you transform things, We did say that the blue, in the blue Dakini, is the shunyata, something rising from nothingness. It's the emptiness. It's pure potential, or the source of all possibilities and manifestations. So what were you doing here? Didn't we say the line between the real and the unreal, the ethereal, something like that? So excited. Pile number 3. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. You have the Hanged Man. You have the 8 of Swords. Some form of magician. You know how when they tie magicians up, they rise? You had some sort of known magical power. Let's find out together. It's always a surprise to know through history that we don't know about, right? You have the 7 of Swords. You have the 3 of Wands. Whoa. You know, this ship is reminding... Oh my god, this is gonna freak me out. This ship is reminding me... you guys, I keep asking you this question and you keep answering it. And I would say, okay, now I remember and I forget. You know that experiment that they've done, I think the CIA has done, or maybe that documentary that talked about transporting people into another time zone, and people were deformed through that experiment. And it's real, it's something that really happened. It's now released within the files that we can read about. It's no secret now, but you know, we're seeing some sort of shape-shifting, traveling through time. Believe it or not, you were up to something mysterious. Pile number 3. What were you up to? You have the Hermit. You kind of have this information that not many people knew about, and you were doing something here. Especially that you have the Hindu letter here, Yod, which means the hand. Looks like you were doing some magic with your hands. It may seem like it's magic that made you maybe disappear and reappear, especially because that's what we noticed in the beginning with, you know, the magician. See, it's all tying up together with the magician being able to leave it their place and come back free, right? 7 of Swords, you know, playing with your hands or making tricks, eye tricks. So we're seeing magic. Pile number 3 for sure. You know, we're talking about shunyata. From nothing something pops up. And you have traveling through time or traveling through location. Could really be location with the 3 of Wands. You were capable of moving from either time or location. Pile number 3. Whoa, see, you have a lot of Yod. Do you see that? Do you see that? See, you have the Yod, the Hebrew letter Yod here. And you see? You held in your hand a lot of magical powers. See, so the Ace of Wands is the first Sephiroth. It's the energy of creation. Creating something from nothing. Again, the concept of shunyata, right? What were you up to, pile number 3? This looks like it's going to be a very interesting reading. In fact, you have the moth here. Again, we're kind of seeing the idea of transforming things, shape-shifting things, transforming things, moving from one place to the other, and perhaps even through time. And that's why you have the blue Dakini, who creates paths as she dances through the depth of infinity. You knew something that others did not. You have the 4 of Swords. Kind of making me feel that you took some swords here and now they belong to you. I'll figure out what this is in a second. This probably pertains to why you had an effect on the world. This is probably talking about that. Last but not least, you have the 5 of Wands. People fighting over silly things and leaving what's important. What is going on here? What's your story? So we were greatly introduced to you. We see that you're able to shift things. So what's the story here? Well, we see with the Hermit and the 4 of Swords, you were always on your own. You were very secluded from the power games of the world, or the day-to-day hustle and bustle, as they say, of life. You were very secluded in a secret place of your own. And with logos here, you know, this is the word of power, which links the lower self to the higher self through vibration. So you were this magical being, a magical healer who was living a secluded life outside of civilization, outside of the power games. You left everything behind, and your powers were growing by the day. You have a very interesting story. We see here with the Five of Wands, everyone else fighting over wealth, ego, everything that you want in life, over love, over everything. And you were really on your own. We can see that you were outside of all of that. You've had hushed secret skills, secret magical powers that only you knew about. And you were able to shift things in the world very quietly, especially that you have the Seven of Swords here. All on your own, without anyone capable of seeing you. You were spreading strong energy of making things shift and change, to the extent where other bigger powers were very suspicious about the grand changes that were happening. It seems to me like no one was ever able to catch you. But although you were secluded, you had a huge effect on the world. You've played a grand role. People can see your effect. They can see the result of the things that you were doing, but they were never able to pinpoint who was doing it, why they were doing it, and most importantly, how they were doing that. You lived off far away. You looked very like a person who really minded their own business, wasn't interested in anything. And so it was very hard to even think or be suspicious that you would have this amount of power to you. It seems to me like with the logos and of course the yod, that you were able to bring things into existence and shift them and take them out and put them back, all through vibrations. Pile number 3. Mind-blowing. Now I'm really curious to what kind of changes with that power did you have on the world? I see. Look, this is crazy, okay? I'm just being forward here. You actually split some land and brought sea between the two. So you've maybe separated countries or continents. You've done something critical here that changed the dynamics of a certain political issue that was about to rise, and a grand argument that was about to happen, and you saved its people. You saved a great war that was going to happen by splitting a land and moving these two people away, or these two lands far away from each other. One of these lands, it seems, landed up in the Antarctica, or landed up in a cold place up in the north. Oh my god. Pile number 3. This reading seems quite significant. Oh my. You had this wisdom and this secret knowledge. Yeah, with the logos, the hermit. You had secret knowledge, giving you very strong powers that no one was aware of. You were just there, in front of everyone, but yet so secluded, because you seemed like someone who was minding their business, wasn't interested in anything. You'd never think. You know, the story of the Seven of Swords is that this person in the Rider-Waite-Smith stole the swords to avoid war the next day, or to stop the war from erupting the next day or causing trouble. So yeah, that's what you were doing. You were like shifting and changing forms, distance, changing things so that the war wouldn't erupt. All in your place by focusing, vibrating high, and thinking about it strongly. You'd move things like not even trees, land, far away from each other. And you had a great effect. Looks crazy, but you obviously even had a geographical effect, not just in saving a huge war that only God knows might have ended in a great disaster to humanity, but you also had a huge effect on the world in terms of the physical geography of it. One way or the other, my dear pile number 3. Isn't this crazy? It's crazy, but it's real. And I would bet you, I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but I would bet you, no, I didn't mention it. I would bet you, or maybe I did, that you have some of these big spiritual skills up until today. You need to contact with, oh yes, I didn't tell you that, but there was another pile who had big spiritual gifts as well. It was, of course, a drastically different story than that completely. But I would say that you have great spiritual gifts with you up until today, that once you tap into, you can never go back. You create magic. So make sure you check that out. You know, I do have a reading that could help you out. I'll link it down in the description box. It's a reading about what your spiritual gifts are. I'll leave it down there. Maybe you want to check it out. Pile number 3. But other than that, this was such a surprising story. One would never imagine that one person with the Ace of Wands would have that amount of power on the planet. And you really did, all alone, in silence. And that was your reading, my dear pile number 3. It was such a magical reading, such an eye-opening reading, and I hope you've enjoyed it. By the way, if you also love Zodiac Tarot readings, please check my other channel out. You'll find it as the first link in the description box. And if you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, pile number 3. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it. But you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying the process. Can you believe that? You'll find that this book truly holds true to this promise. And pile number 3, if you're interested in checking it out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook, as I always say, and if you love and enjoy audiobooks like me. And that was your reading, my dear pile number 3. It was a real pleasure and an honor doing this reading for you. Thank you for being amazing. You must be, until today, someone who's very quiet but knows they have a lot, my dear pile number 3. So that was your reading, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye.